So, hey, it's Toni, Rawlicious. I've got the amazing Dwayne as my guest today, all the way from the US. We actually stayed in Canada for a few years, and now he's come over to Phuket for probably a year, maybe. Who knows? Who knows what the journey's going to be? Well, that's what we're going to talk about.
Hopefully longer.
Yeah. So, Dwayne's become a very good friend of ours now, and I'm very blessed and honoured that you've actually come and experiencing this lifestyle, raw veganism, and the conscious living. So we're going to delve into Dwayne's story.
My journey.
Your journey.
Yeah.
It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And thank you guys for, having me.
Don't jump back in.
Yeah. You guys have been so awesome since I've been here. I really appreciate it. Because as we talked about, community is one of the things that's difficult when you want to pursue this lifestyle.
Quite a lonely path it can be.
It can be. And so you tend to really appreciate people like yourself who, one, have mastered it, who are living it day in, day out, and not just like the idea of what raw veganism is. And, everyone's entitled to live the life that they want to live. But if you're really pursuing this lifestyle, it requires a certain level of discipline, and so community is essential. In my
Just
in
make
my
it
opinion.
easier. It definitely community online, offline, most like that physical connection. But it's got to be with the right people. Sometimes we force things, and they're not always the right souls to be around, and we can really, force it when it's not right, and because we want the connections, but. It's patience, isn't it? And being happy with yourself and being present. Yeah. And taking risks, coming across the world.
It was definitely a decision to leave, but I felt as though maybe everybody else might agree with this. Living in North America, for me, felt like I was sacrificing my health. And try as I may, I don't know what it was about the environment. I don't know if it was just the 9-to-5 grind of going to work. I don't know if it was just being around different people or something as simple as like not having access to the best quality types of food. It's really difficult to live the raw vegan lifestyle there.
It can, but it can work, and we've seen others, but I think that initial step, and when you're right in it, and sometimes that's why environment really does support you on the beginning stages of the journey. I had to leave England because of it. So I think the weather helps, the tropics. There's a lot of things that can help.
Thailand is hot, that's for sure.
You're like eating fruit, it cools you down. But you'll never run away from those deep layers. And that's what'll surface, and that's why the raw foods heal in some sense, but actually they'll get to the root cause of that. You'll get a lot of clarity. So people think it's the foods that heal. It's not. It's what you're eliminating. It's what you're finding out, discovering what your true unease is, the void. This, I used to call it, there's a hole inside. There's something like non-belonging. And you even mentioned it, not belonging. There's something, there's a detachment. And the society, sadly, has set us up to be in detachment, to split in families, and everybody to work longer, work more hours. You're just constantly working for not anymore. You're in survival mode. I call it the survival drift. We keep having to keep working more, keep doing things just to get by. And then when you want to zone out, you're going to unhealthy. So then you've got the food, you've got the distractions.
That kind of numbs you.
So the whole thing combined, it's a difficult. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of courage. I feel for myself and many others, the best way is get around with the community. If you can't get it offline, online, we have the Raw Living group, and that's how we met.
That's right.
Through my Raw Living group, over 63k members now. So if you want support on your journey, do check that out. Get to meet people like Dwayne, myself, who we want more. We love the lifestyle. We love that we just know it's the way forward.
Yeah.
So take us back, Dwayne, because, I mean, what's your weight now? Do you know what you weigh?
I would say that I am about 450 pounds right now.
Okay.
And it's kind of fluctuated within this, plus or minus 30. I've had moments of doing, juice cleanses, or, trying to eat raw for a period of time. I think when my situation is having the raw compete with my lifestyle, right? Whether I was working 2 jobs or, just not having the right structure and approach to really, really pursue this fully and be 100% committed to it, which is arguably why I'm here now, right? Just making the decision where I quit my job, and we're going to get into that. And, I left Canada, almost like the universe encouraged me to do this. Yeah. And now I'm here in Thailand, and who knows? What I do know is that I'm here to focus 100% on my health, for sure. So.
Yeah. So this is it. When you realize health, people sacrifice the health for wealth. And truly health is wealth. And it's cliche, but it's so true that we go about it the wrong way.
Yeah.
And when you haven't got your health, and luckily you haven't got anything severely going on, but could lead to that.
Yeah.
So, God, joys. We've got so many dogs around us, but it's what it is.
Yeah.
So take us back to, your lowest weight was what age, or what your...
Yeah, that's a good question. The lowest weight that I've ever remembered being, when it would be in my mind is this. It was really back in high school. I was very active. We lived in the Caribbean. I played a lot of sports. We played soccer, what we call football, right?
We call it football.
And, even then, the diet wasn't perfect. Living in the Caribbean, we've just really modified the way that we've ate. Things have to be really rich, the drinks, the smoothies and stuff like that. But the baseline of all the foods that we ate were still, good ingredients.
Yeah.
Like the soursop juices and stuff. But we would add condensed sweetened milk to it. So it's like they were always there, but we've modified it. So, and the lowest that I can remember is about 185, 190.
Okay.
So consider this, that I was leaving 9th or 10th grade at that weight.
Yeah.
And then I came to the U.S. for 11th grade, and then the weight just kind of snowballed from there.
Wow. Yeah. And you've been at this weight for quite a few years.
Yeah. I've had moments where, you lose 50 pounds, stuff like that.
Is that where you juice cleanses and things like that then, and fasting?
I really stepped into that when I moved. I moved to the state of Arizona. And so for me, I went through kind of like this self-discovery phase where I learned about aromatherapy. I learned about juicing and everything that comes with that. And I would say that started more or less in 2016, 2017.
Right.
So last 6 years.
So
and
more
it's
conscious of...
More conscious, for sure.
Okay.
I watched Fat, Sick, Nearly Dead.
Oh, wow, did you?
With Joe Cross.
Yeah.
That was kind of the catalyst for me. And I went immediately into a 14-day green juice fast where I drank juices that nobody should drink.
Yeah.
With garlic and everything involved. And they definitely weren't the best tasting. But I experienced a lot of interesting things, and it really woke me up to see what was possible. I felt amazing. My sleep was great. I don't know. I can't remember how much weight I lost, but it was significant enough that at the time I was in a relationship, it was significant enough that she was concerned at the rate at which I was losing weight. But I felt great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I felt great. So why would I stop? Well, when I stopped, I wasn't entirely sure what the protocol was afterwards, and I ended up eating. And so here comes the learning process. That kind of
That's
began.
a different stage in time. It's actually one of the hardest for most, the post-cleanse.
I think that's where I struggle.
Yeah.
So you had mentioned that a lot of people get trapped in this kind of detox
Yeah.
You know, and the reason why I think a lot of people get trapped, and I'm guilty of that, is you don't really know. All we ever talk about is the detox. We don't talk about transitionary eating and what that might look like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that's why I focus now. It's detox, build, transform.
Yeah.
It's the build. Like I'm in the building phase. I'm still helping others in the detox, but building phase is just as crucial.
Yeah.
Like building that microbiome, the new microbiome in your stomach, the gut flora, and really getting your cells ready for this new resistance training. Because really in detox, you don't want to be doing too much resistance. You can juice cleanse it, probably not, but with fruits you could get, and even I've seen others like Kev Ramon get right into his weight training. So I'm going to see the same for me with me doing the mono cleanse to see how much my training helps. But yeah, so you felt, is there any pinnacle moment that you felt this is becoming such an addiction? Because I know we forget that those steps, how it gets out of control. Like for me, I can't pinpoint exact times, but I remember in my late teens, I was sitting in my car, binge eating, and I'm thinking, and I'm smashing in all these calories, comfort eating. And I'm like, this ain't normal.
Yeah.
But that went on all my 20s. And I was restricting, stuff in my face, restricting, and it was messy. So I would say my late teens. Was there anything that you can pinpoint, any trauma based, or was it just through a cycle of life and just lots of different?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's one distinct, I think my family would say this was when it was noticeably different. The reality is, in my mind's eye, I felt like weight was always an issue for me, from pre-adolescence, teenager, adolescence, and going into like young adulthood. Weight has always been a sticking point for me. However, when I was in 10th grade, we were living in the Bahamas Islands.
Beautiful.
Yeah, great place. And my dad sent me to Costa Rica on like a 2 to 3 week kind of exchange program where my Spanish class went and studied. It was a great experience. We lived with a host family and did all of that cool stuff. Well, for some reason, they believed that I may have gotten some sort of a parasite because when I came back, my weight ballooned.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Just continually got out of hand.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not that's true, I would say shortly thereafter, I moved to the U.S. And from there, it kind of incrementally increased. Yeah, for sure.
And do you feel it's convenience, comfort? Is there any just habit?
I'm sure it's a combination of all those things.
Yeah.
If I'm being quite honest.
Yeah.
I think what's scary and what most people don't understand about people who are overweight is that, it's easy to, kind of see someone and say, how can someone let themselves get to this point, right? And there's some truth to that, right? Because there's a certain level of self-awareness that you're disconnected from when you're going through this motion, right? But I think trauma manifests itself differently in different people. Yeah. And so for me, it happened to be my weight and my emotional attachment to the foods that I was eating. But also, I also think that the quality of the foods changed. And so, my genetic predisposition is that I put on a lot of weight. For somebody else, it might be they developed cancer early on. So technically, I feel a little bit blessed that all I've had is weight gain. Yeah. Because it could be worse. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so for me, I would say that I started to realize the connection between my moods and the foods that I would be eating. And that right there is scary when you actually realize that you're using food to self-soothe.
Yeah.
It's really scary because it's almost like...
It's a drug.
Yeah, it is. It's a drug, but...
It's a pain relief.
It also is that as well. And, and the other side of that, too, is it's almost like you wake up. You're like, wow, like I didn't realize that I was actually doing this.
And time goes fast, I notice as well sometimes. It just, and as you get older, it gets even faster, doesn't it? So it feels just one moment, you're like, what?
Yeah.
How? Yeah. But I know what you're saying. People, it's all right for some who have not been, they don't understand. There's more to it. Yeah. So where you at now with your journey? So that was the past and leading up. Where are you now?
Yeah, you know, so I just made the decision. I think we lost you there.
Dogs, eh? How many we got? 5 or 6?
Hey, guys. Yeah, where am I at now with my journey?
So fun.
I made the decision. I made the decision to change my life. In all reality, I felt like it was time for me. You know, I had moved to to Canada from the U.S. during COVID because I decided I just wasn't in love with the U.S. I wasn't in love with being there. I couldn't explain to anybody else. I just know that I felt that the United States just was not for me. Mm-hmm. People will ask me, is it political? Not really, because I'm apolitical, honestly. I kind of can listen to both sides. It's really not a big factor for me. I just felt like my energy was off in the U.S. So I made the move to Canada. I lived in Vancouver, British Columbia for about 2 years. I loved it there. This guy. You're trying to be the star of the show, huh? He's blocking.
He's funny. Well, you love him, don't you? You want to.
Yeah,
he's his favourite, so I think it's meant to be. It's meant to be in your interview.
Come on.
You sit down. You sit down.
Yeah.
So Vancouver, beautiful place.
Yeah, Vancouver is great. I made some good friends there. I guess Vancouver being an expensive city, one of the things that I didn't do well was I really got into my career at the time. And, you know, I ended up working, I ended up working 2 full-time jobs remotely for almost 2 years. Was able to pay off a lot of my debt and did all the things that you think would make you happy.
Yeah.
I was trying to stay. I don't know what's going on.
Get down. Get down.
Yeah, I was able to pay off a lot of my debt, which, you know, kind of made me feel good. But I started to realize that I really wasn't happy, you know? And it was evident by the breakdown of, you know, some of my relationships or how easily I was getting, you know, upset or felt disconnected from the people I was around. And I started to realize that, you know, if I am the only continuous thread there, then maybe the problem is me. And I think the universe did exactly. I think the universe. Stop.
Fanny.
Come on. You gotta stay with me.
No, you'll have to move him because he's obsessed.
Yeah. I think the universe was just telling me, hey, you know, it's time for you to make a change.
Yeah.
And, you know, right around that time we connected. And I had my eyes set on Thailand because I was just looking for somewhere affordable that was tropical, that I can go and decompress and just figure out what it is that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And, you know, we connected through the Facebook group app. I was in your group for a few, and then I made that post that you commented on. I didn't even know it was your group.
Yeah.
You know, I just thought I was like, this lady's really nice, you know? But I've kind of always been reaching out because I'm convinced that this is definitely the way to go.
Yeah.
You know, I think the amount of information is overwhelming.
It is.
That, you know, moving towards a plant-based whole foods diet, specifically fruitarian, raw vegan, is the way to go. I felt like I need the community. So maybe other people are able to do it on their own, and kudos to them. But I'm very community-minded. I like people. I like being around people.
Yeah.
But I found that I wanted to be around the right kinds of people in the right kind of environment.
You have to be selective with your energy, and that's something I learned in a big way.
Yeah.
Because it's all right, like I say, when you're lonely and you're choosing the wrong people in your life, don't always support you on that journey. Go on, over there, Devin. Over there.
You are on a mission.
Yes.
Yeah.
Always when we want to record, all relaxed, all afternoon, and then when we record, that's what dogs do every time I'm on a call. Huh?
I love it.
But you made a brave decision, and something the universe, what I've learned, really favors. Like, you don't have to go all way 100%, but if you meet the universe, and it's kind of esoteric for some people, but 50-50, you will be rewarded. And that's what I've learned through taking risks and letting go more and just being an opportunist. Life is so enriching, and life is so much more fulfilling than these material other things. Yeah, we all need certain things, but you realize very, very simple things.
Yeah.
And like community is so important, and something that you value, and put that time in, that investment is worth it. And you're here. So the future, what does that look like for Dwayne?
Well, for one, I know that we're going to be doing our extended watermelon cleanse. I'm excited for that. It's going to kick off tomorrow.
Yeah.
So right now we're just eating some of the amazing food that Mango has created for me.
Raw vegan.
Raw vegan food. You won't miss the meat. You won't miss the animal products. And then you'll know you're nourishing your body. So that's pretty good.
Because you're still in and out of
I was.
animal products?
Yeah.
So not fully.
It's a mindset.
plant-based.
Yeah, I haven't been fully plant-based, and that was kind of always been my struggle.
Yeah.
Is to be fully plant-based. I had moments of going a week.
Yeah.
And then caving and doing. So for me, it's the cravings. But yeah, I'm excited. So what's on the agenda for me is I'm here in Thailand. I'm here to focus on eating a plant-based diet and training for 6 months to a year to transform myself, to feel good about the way I look, the way I feel, and just move me into a more positive space where I feel better about who I am and the things that I'm doing, and attracting the certain type of things into my life that I really want. You know what I mean? I felt like the previous 2 years I was doing a lot of chasing and not enough attracting.
Yeah.
In all areas of my life, where such a scarcity mindset when you're trying to get something that's not within.
Yeah. Whereas
you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
A lot of resistance. And then you realize that makes sense.
Right. 100%. So I heard someone say, more jujitsu, less karate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kind of go with the flow.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what my MO is right now.
Yeah. It's a great mindset. Come on, guys. No. So one thing I want to touch on is the shift in the mindset, because I coach my clients, even coming from a standard diet. Many of them come from plant-based already, but there are a few, like yourself, on the animal products. Guys, come on. I know, like, for me, it was transitional, and I accepted the way I work. I learned a lot about self-development and my way of doing. I felt like all or nothing didn't used to work for me, because I'd be on every single diet, every single cleanse. So I did a transitional, but I never thought I'd be all vegan. I knew I'd be high raw at some point, but then it just made sense. But some people are all or nothing, like our friend James, and even I feel called to you, if you're with the right people, especially that personal touch. You can do it. It is a mindset. You've got a great mindset in that, and I know you'll do it, and I know because you've got that, so I will push that and encourage and coach you on that. But for those that feel, I want to do it gradual, because most people are all or nothing, and that lies the issue. But these cleanses don't ever do us harm. If anything, a lot of them could do a lot of good, especially the mono fruits, and eat in abundance and no restriction. Yeah,
I'm excited to see what that's going to be like for me.
And this is what I want to take people on this journey with you, and share your journey. Because I think people are fascinated on these lifestyles and where you are now, and they want to see you where you go.
The results that come.
It's great. And the whole process. Not just before and after. People want to see that journey. Because it is a challenging journey. It isn't just about the food. It is the mindset. It's who you're around, it's your daily habits, and that's what we're going to work on. And we work on the spiritual aspect, and this is something I know you want to delve into, but it's when you've got a spiritual practice attached, to know that there's something bigger than just this here. There's something more, and you're connected to the higher self. It's powerful, and this is what I help my clients go through, and you're going to see the whole process. It's really exciting. So what I want to share is the ethical side, what really cements a lot of people on this lifestyle, because you start to not just look at the ethical side, but it's like how everything else is connected, and how we are suffering, all of us, because as below, as above, you know, it's below, so, everything duality. So when you see some of these videos, like I had to watch it. My light bulb moment happened when I went and volunteered, and it was a dog shelter, the biggest in Asia, and they were stopping the dog meat trade. And it was James that said, well, what's the difference between eating, it was all sat there on the table, what's the difference between eating dogs and cows and chickens? And I was like, it just, light bulb went off for me. For me, it did. The rest of it didn't. It's just what you've been
programmed and conditioned to domesticate dogs, but for sure.
And cows are so loving. I went to university, did animal science and behaviour, and I know how pigs and cows are affectionate. They want love, and pigs are very intelligent. I mean, even that, they're sentient beings, you know, so I feel, how could I want to contribute? Because you're indirectly contributing to their death. And you're a very caring, you can see you work a lot from the heart. And I would say everyone is. But we're so detached, because that's what's conditioned. We've been conditioned to do that. It's all looks, you know, the cows are having a great time in the fields. You know, there's no abattoirs, there's none of them glass, they're not glass windows, they're hidden. They're well away. They're not in front of you. If you had to work, you know, people that work in these abattoirs, they go insane. They become sick. They find in crimes. Most crimes are from, or as in they looked at the ones that work in abattoirs, that they're more, what's the word? They could go on to being, they're usually abusers in their life, in their home life. So it's interesting how the patterns, when you see that, if you think, wow, those killing every day, it becomes normal. And you think,
it's pretty sad.
It's a sick and sad society. So I think could help you to watch some of those, and I feel for everybody, like Dominion, Earthlings.
I've heard
Earthling
of those.
Ed is
Food
amazing.
Inc.
Pardon?
Food Inc. as well is one of them.
Yeah,
right?
well, that's food cowspiracy, because people think, the fish, because that my argument was, well, fish ain't too bad, you know, surely. It's
seafood.
Horrendous the way they treat the fish in the fish industry, and they don't just capture just those fish, it's all the other wildlife, and still, why are we discriminating? So that really cements it, but then you start to trail back of where your food comes from, and everything is energetic, you know, everything has a frequency. So where are we going in the chain? If you go closest to the source, that's where you're going to get the higher frequency, and why you're going to feel so good, and why you're going to get the nutrients and the energy and the premature aging. You know, we can get rid of all of that. The weight gain, we can live. I was just saying to you this morning, you see what I eat, and Dwayne sees me. I don't, little bits. I'm a girl that enjoys my food, but I eat the right food, and there's no calories in, calories out on this way of living. And I'm the lowest I've ever been, and my body mass, I just did it this morning, is 14.9 lean body mass. So it's if I get to 14, it's going to start being too low, but without effort. So I know some people can be predispositioned, but I was never overweight, but mine was more of the emotional aspects of it. But the way it was still over a train, and then, but I controlled it because I knew I could be. Because my family, my mum was big. She was a big lady. So she went on every single diet. So I know I can be. You know, my mother was not slim. She is now, but she was on every single diet. I remember going to Weight Watchers, Slimming Well.
A lot. Same for my family as well. My mom My mom's side of the family struggles,
They
and
don't
then
teach you
my dad's side of the family struggles with a lot of the degenerative diseases, diabetes, stuff like that.
Yeah, so it's in your but although it's in your family, it's not your also genetics. It doesn't have to be. I've seen so many people predispositions in their family and still not because of their lifestyle.
Yeah,
it's mostly lifestyle, the way you think, the stress, and you've taken that. You've realised people, it's like the stress is a big contributor. It's the biggest killer, stress. And also, when you stress, you eat, and that's why it all is all linked. It's all combined.
Yeah, and that's a challenge, right? You don't realize how, unprepared for managing stress you really are. And for some people, they drink. For some people, they eat. And like I said, everyone's predisposition is different, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of your cross to bear is what you figure out. And then hopefully you figure out in a timely manner, that way you're able to have some quality of life.
Yes. Yeah.
Because make no mistakes about it, whether you're overweight, whether you struggle with alcohol, whether you struggle with drugs, whatever your poison is, it does reduce your quality of life significantly.
It takes over your life.
100%.
Yeah.
So I think what's most important to me is to take control of my life in a way that I feel like I'm in the driver's seat of everything that is coming down the path for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And being that I have identified, or my perception is that everyone sees me now as Dwayne the big guy, would be heartwarming to do this kind of overall transformation for all the aesthetic benefits that come with that, but also things that are intangible, like being able to do the things that I enjoy doing, because like I said, I was very active as a child. I like sports. I feel like I'm naturally competitive in a healthy way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So doing things like hiking, basketball, cycling, swimming, stuff that I really enjoyed doing when I was a kid, and stuff that I miss doing is limited, because of, overweight. So
what have you seen as so with not being able to do those, what other challenges have you been facing with?
Yeah, I mean, let's just take, for example, things that most people wouldn't consider being an issue, like, buying clothes, or, something as simple as taking a flight. You have to consider all of these adjustments. And the thing is, in the U.S., those adjustments are made, it's kind of widespread now, right? Because we talk about body positivity, which we talked about this, right? And it's not, there's like this line that you cross when body positivity goes into just like, delusionalness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it's because the negative effect.
Well, I think it's an agenda.
The pressure, it takes the pressure off, and I understood like there's some, but when you look deeper into that, there was a
there's just there's reality, and then there's optimism.
Because how can, if it's affecting your health and your day-to-day activities, but like you said, your clothes, but people forget that even just like out of breath, going out outside
going for a walk.
And being able,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or I mean, and all of these different ways that it affects your life, your confidence, your self-esteem, how you perceive yourself, that trickles down into areas of your life. It affects the type of jobs that you go for, the type of partner you select, how outgoing you are. Maybe you might not be as inclined to go out in public because you don't feel. I mean, there's so many aspects and sides to this that people don't see. That's, it can definitely be overwhelming at times, for sure. I'm naturally I present as a naturally confident person, but there are definitely times where, it's difficult for me, for sure, and so it's really about just making that decision to change. And look, at at best case scenario, I'm removing all distractions and focusing on this journey. And whatever happens, happens. And removing the expectation, but just kind of, going through the formula, raw foods, exercise, nature, and just kind of recycle, rinse, repeat that until, because we know that we do that enough, we should get the certain results, right? Yeah. So that's kind of that's my approach.
Yeah.
And luckily, I have Toni, Mango, and I'm creating that community that I said I've always wanted, and manifesting that in a way that is going to help to support me becoming who I've kind of always known I should be. You know what I mean? And like you said, not everybody is going to be willing to hop on a plane and travel 26 hours to a new place they've never been, Yeah. But hey, I just figured, it was worth a shot.
It's your time. It's your time now, Dwayne. I feel a call of, you make it work. You make it work, and we'll help you do all that, because we've got headstrong, and they said last night, I am an ex-military. So I'll call out your bullshit. Yeah. There's times when I'll be empathetic?
Yeah.
Empathetic. Empathetic.
Yeah.
But both.
Yeah.
Well, help. And, but also, nurturing, but also the stern, firm.
Yeah, for sure.
You need that, because we will fall into habits, and they're just patterns. They're not you.
Right.
They're just patterns that you've developed.
Yeah.
And they're not truly who you are. That's not it.
Yeah.
And if you can detach, that's the biggest shift you'll ever get. You're like,
replace
there's
routines.
my pattern. Go in again. This is what we'll dive deep into, and this is what we work on, because it's the unconscious habits that we're doing, the self-sabotage. You might be kind of aware of them, but you keep giving into them. But the more you don't give into them, it gets stronger and stronger and easier, as in stronger as in your, okay, I know this is my, just like a little monkey mind is going off, it's a pattern. I see it as a detachment of me, and you're like, hey, here you go again, but I'm not going to feed you. Which wolf? You've heard of the wolf story, the wolf of the feeding?
No, I haven't.
The one who's got the, just do what you want, ego, I don't want to be, I want to be a rebel, because I had that. I was like, I want to do what I want to do. And then you've got the gentle wolf that's, call out your BS. I know. You can't be. This is fascinating. Oh, Barney, leave him alone.
I don't know what he's going for right there.
And it depends which wolf you're going to feed. And we have to starve. I call it the ego wolf. Starve that ego wolf, because that's the one that keeps you stuck in there. Even to associate with like what's going on in the world, is the big matrix, the elites. They control. They want that control, and this is what your ego wants. It's feeding into that. But when you detach from it and don't feed it, feed the true self, true who you are at your core, this light being. This is what's going to shine through and get easier and easier. And when you realize that, and the more you don't feed it, the dark, the ego wolf,
it's going to get easier and easier.
It will. It happens.
That's a big fear, and I've actually had conversations with people who struggle with their weight. One thing they say is, there's a fear that they have that this, because it's a cycle, and intuitively, you're on this hamster wheel of lose weight, gain weight, lose weight. You know what I mean? And so the fear there is almost like paralysis by over-analysis. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so you just kind of self-sabotage. Yeah. What's the point? Because all we've done, the habit, the routine is we do this, we get to our goal, whatever that might be. If we do, we're met with a trigger. We give into that trigger, and then you self-spiral, you binge, right? Or whatever the case might be. And then you find yourself back where you were,
same cycle.
Or worse.
Yeah, you're going into that for years and years and years. It's just breaking the cycle.
Yeah.
It is. Best friend. Oh, he's so sweet. Amazing. So, yeah, excited for your journey.
Yeah, I am too.
Sharing it.
I'm excited to be staying here at your beautiful villa in Thailand, in Phuket, and, you know, for us to go on this journey. Watermelon only fasting. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm honoured to be part of it. And I will be opening it up to questions. So in the next call with Dwayne, I'm going to ask the questions from you. So if you do want to ask any questions, then do comment below. So we always end with the be, feel, and stay Rawlicious. So that's my
Be
free
fair.
tags. Stay. So we'll do it together.
Okay.
And then we do a little kiss.
All right,
and
cool.
A little
I got
sparkle.
you.
So after 3, 1, 2, 3,
be fair.
feel,
Feel, stay Rawlicious.
Rawlicious.
Love it.
Amazing.